Tyron High Command. This is a Code Orange situation. Set up a curfew for all civilians. Request available information on the target. No new information at this time.
So, the Greater Fiends have a soul, don't they?
Yes, they are the ones who retain a spirit even after becoming fiends. There are only 3 of them. Doku, my sister, and another who guards the Emperor.
It's not safe for you to be around me. You should go now.
Ah, Rachel. I should kill you now for the pain you've inflicted on Alma, but instead, I shall use you to make her even stronger. It will be your blood, the cursed blood of a twin sister, that shall serve to awaken Alma. It is a shame such a fine specimen has to go to waste. You might have become more powerful than even Alma, but no longer.
Ninja Gaiden Black Chapter 8. Things are a little different now in Tyron. You know, our little fight last chapter kind of messed some shit up.
Yeah, they pulled in the whole army who might be after you. They don't seem to really know.
Tyron is now under alert. You are completely surrounded and the situation is grave. But you should be able to disrupt the military's organization by attacking the radio control tower next to the military supply base. To reach the supply base, you must first cross the drawbridge. That is where your path should lead you.
So yeah, we've got ourselves a new goal to work towards. Kind of a, I guess, a diversion from Ryu's main objective, obviously. I mean, just anything to get whatever these new enemies are off our backs. But first we're gonna head back inside the cathedral to pick some stuff up. If you've noticed, like during the end of that last cutscene, a little something got left behind.
Rachel's wig.
If only. Nope, it's our Warhammer. This thing is very much useless.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, less moves than what Rachel actually has with it in Sigma. But even then, like, this very same chapter, we are going to get another heavy weapon that absolutely outclasses this one in every way. In fact, you might have even seen it, like, at the end of the last chapter in Sigma. And, lastly, there's a fiend challenge at the bottom of this, of that shaft, like, basically in the room where we got the Holy Grail. But I decided to just skip all that stuff because, again, we're not going to see the combat challenge until Sigma.
It takes quite a while to get to, if I remember right, too.
Oh yeah, it does, but it's one thing that I've actually gotten in the habit of doing because on this chapter, doing that particular combat challenge is the main way to ensure that you get Master Ninja rank because it gets you the required number of enemies to kill. But here are the Vigurian military soldiers. These, like, introduce a new series of problems for players, mainly because they, like, are pretty defensive and on higher difficulties are notorious for a particular move that is designed to counteract an essential move of Ryu's, which is the Flying Swallow. But we're not going to see that actual move in place here, but more likely than not, you're going to see, like, if you try and do the Flying Swallow at them, you're more than likely going to see them block it. Also, automatic guns, which, if you get caught with it, like, if you're not blocking or in any regular attacking stance, you're going to get staggered really bad.
Yeah, it's like every like third or fourth bullet, or maybe not quite that fast, but you just get guard broken.
Yeah, it very much like requires you to like keep moving, but also ensure that if you're going to go in for attack, that it's not in a position to be interrupted. Because another nasty habit of these guys is, like, say you want to land in as close as possible to them to do an instant charge ultimate technique. They might just, like, out of nowhere, like, reach out to you and, like, grab you by the head and throw you to the ground. And it's, like, and it's way more immediate and, like, hard to predict than, say, like, the SAT Commandos grab, in which, more often than not, they run up, hit you, and then proceed to do the grab afterwards, you know, giving you a little bit of time to react more carefully.
Yeah, and you're likely still in block stun from the automatic fire, too, at that point.
Yeah, but those regular ones aren't even the main problem. The real problem are the soldiers that have the rocket launchers, which is, I would say, the genesis of, like, I'd say a major grief that even, like, huge fans of Ninja Gaiden tend to have, and that is enemies that fire rockets.
The APCs with their automatic weapons aren't really helping much either, considering you can't do anything to them from the ground.
Well, actually you can. What you do is, like, throw projectiles at them, in which they'll eventually explode. But, yeah. But with all the other stuff you have to deal with on top of it, yeah, it's not that fun. But yeah, the thing with the rocket launchers is, while, like, the regular soldiers are able to usually do stuff like grab you as soon as you land on the ground, their nasty habit is to immediately fire a rocket the moment you land back on the ground from a jump. And it's, you know, and if you're not, like, keeping up on, like, where they are, and, like, if you're constantly trying to get off an ultimate landing, like, from an on landing technique, it is, like, really infuriating. The one upside to it, though, is that they actually have to physically reload their rocket launchers. So once they fire it, that basically confirms for you that they aren't going to fire again for a good few seconds, giving you time to close the distance. And thankfully, they don't block your flying swallow, so there ends up being, you know, a fair amount of strategy in how to approach situations where you're dealing with both regular soldiers and rocket launcher soldiers.
I didn't think it had been that long since we'd used smoke bombs. I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, there's really only like a few locations in the game where you'll actually find them in chests, but most of the time, like, if you're using smoke bombs a whole lot, you'll more than likely just end up buying them again from Muramasa. But as for me, of course, they don't factor in that much into my playstyle, so whenever I come across them, most of the times, like, I'm not able to pick them up because I've not, in my normal playthroughs, I don't even use a single smoke bomb. So the Skull Key, like, gets us into this little room that has a couple golden scarabs and a Muramasa shop, allowing us to stock up on essentials before the next major fight. In fact, that's our 20th scarab in black, so taking it over to Muramasa will get us that much better heavy weapon, the Dabilaro. It's kind of a hard name to, like, pronounce correctly if you just look at it from a glance, but, like, once you look at it a little while, it kind of comes naturally.
This is probably my favorite weapon in this game.
It's a very damn good one. Like, for the latter half of the game, it's super useful. And it's for one of those things where it avoids the problem that, like, Rachel's Warhammer, like, runs into. But not so much with Ryu, but, like, also, like, with Rachel's playstyle in Sigma. The Darilaro has, like, a couple moves that are, like, single hit but super powerful. But against larger enemies, it becomes more beneficial to use, like, a full combo with the Dabilaro, because once you get it going, it progressively gets faster and deals out the damage pretty quickly near the end. And now we have not quite a boss, but I guess like a preview. This one is like, this is a segment where we just have to hold off against this helicopter for an indeterminate amount of time. I've never actually like taken a stopwatch or anything to see like how long it has to go for, or if there are any other conditions. But I just decide to like pan the camera around this Ryu, just blocks every single bullet like a badass.
That's some definite skills there.
Yeah. It skills that could only be honed from young childhood, like living in a ninja village. And there it goes. It just decides to piss off. Must have run out of ammo or something. But the gate is still closed, so we can't pass through. We're gonna have to find some way to get through.
You're a ninja. You can put on a disguise and infiltrate the enemy's base.
Yeah, well, Ryu's not into that sort of thing, I guess. And even then, like, I feel like most other video game ninjas, with the exception of like the main characters in Tenchu, wouldn't even really like consider that. I mean, what, do you think Joe Musashi from Shinobi would like use that sort of technique? He'd just run around just like filling it, like poking everything with shuriken. But
Maybe.
yeah, we killed that soldier up in the window so he can get out of this area and back through the skull door, because we're also getting a new weapon that replaces one of our old ones. Much like how the flails completely invalidate the nunchucks, we're getting something that'll vastly improve our bow and arrow.
I actually can't 100% remember what this is.
I mean, it was kind of hinted at, actually, when the camera kind of zoomed in on the open window, because there was something, you know. So yeah, obviously we see a switch, and here we have a strong bow that we can only get by giving up our old bow. This bow is fantastic. It not only increases the strength of the arrows, but it also has no drop-off. So, you aim, like, at an enemy from no matter what distance, it'll hit it. You won't have to account for gravity.
I completely forgot that this upgrade existed.
Well, I mean, I certainly did. and it's the kind of thing where, you know, just because you like give up the old version of that weapon for this new one, like this becomes synonymous, like as far as like this is the bow and arrow. You know, it's just that good. But this is the end of the chapter. We open the gate, and the one after this is not one of the good ones, I'd say, but you'll see, you know, much later. Kind of a short one, obviously because of the time that I cut out from the combat challenge, but with all that extra points that I got, it ensured a Master Ninja rank. So see you next time when we go through this chapter again in Sigma.
Till then.